17 things to know before driving in Los Angeles. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, entertaining, and in this video I'm going to be telling you the ropes about how to drive in LA. This video is part of my series on Los Angeles. You'll find more videos on Los Angeles in the description below or at the end of this video, but I've got more neat videos like cheap eats in LA, things to do in LA, what to see in downtown Los Angeles, so make sure to check those out after you've watched this video. But for many visitors coming to Los Angeles, driving in LA can be overwhelming. Huge freeways, lots of traffic, different rules of the road. Well, in this video, I'm gonna teach you some things you need to know that might not be readily apparent to help take that edge off, so when you get to LA and you hop in your rental car, you're ready to hit the road. The first thing to know about driving in Los Angeles is about traffic. And if you've spent any length of time in Los Angeles, you will come to understand that there's traffic, like all the time, at every hour of the night. I mean, maybe between like 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. there's no traffic, but there's traffic all the time. We typically don't measure things in distance in LA. We typically measure things in time, because the fact that something is 10 miles away isn't particularly meaningful because the traffic is so bad. We'll say things like that is about an hour away, because that's about how long it's going to take you in traffic. People will often quote times in, well, it takes 10 minutes if there's no traffic, but an hour if there is. People who live in Los Angeles have learned to plan their life around traffic. As a visitor, you should do the same. Morning rush hour is typically Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., and then evening rush hour is typically 4 to 7 p.m. That's when traffic is going to be the worst. That's not to say that there isn't traffic throughout the rest of the day. Fridays are a notoriously bad day for traffic. In that case, the evening rush hour starts about 1 p.m. and goes till about 8 p.m. If you're in Los Angeles during the holidays, often the day before the holiday is particularly awful. The worst day to drive in Los Angeles is the day before Thanksgiving. If you're in LA in November, the day before Thanksgiving, don't be planning to go anywhere quickly. In general, the traffic pattern in Los Angeles is that traffic flows into downtown Los Angeles in the morning and away from downtown Los Angeles in the afternoon. It's not that simple because not everything is in downtown LA, but you can sort of draw a 10-mile circle around downtown Los Angeles and say that's the general area people are commuting into. The second thing to know is Los Angeles has a ton of freeways, and we typically call them by the 5, the 10, the 110. Many other parts of the United States, they put like I in front of it, like Interstate 10 or Route 5. We don't, we call it the 10, the 5, the 110. Typically, the left lanes are the fastest driving lanes, the right lanes are the slowest lanes. Most exits off the freeway are on the right. Sometimes there are exits on the left, but they've been getting rid of those left exits. The left lane or left lanes may often be the diamond lanes. They're known as the HOV lanes, or the high occupancy vehicle lanes, sometimes known as carpool. Those are typically reserved for vehicles that have 2 or 3 passengers in them. Sometimes those lanes can also be toll lanes, meaning that you can pay to drive in those lanes, but you will need a Fastrak transponder in your car to drive in those lanes on certain freeways. Even if you're carpooling and not paying, on some roads like the 110, you'll still need that Fastrak transponder that has a little switch that tells the freeway that you're carpooling. Otherwise, you'll get sent a nasty ticket. And yes, if you're renting a rental car and you don't have a Fastrak transponder and your rental car service doesn't offer tolling, you might end up with a nasty ticket sent in the mail sometime after your trip to LA. The third thing to know is about speed limits. On freeways, the general speed limit is 65 miles per hour. Sometimes the freeways go down to 55 in the center of the city. General residential streets, the speed is 25 miles per hour. So if you're on some street and it's unmarked, typically 25 miles per hour is the unmarked limit. If you're on a road that has multiple lanes, typically slower traffic is on the right and faster traffic is on the left. Probably the best thing to do is just go with the flow of traffic. If you're going with the flow of traffic, which is often slightly higher than the speed limit, if there's not traffic, then you're usually pretty okay. I mean, don't quote me if you get pulled over by the cops and they said, "Why were you going 80?" And you say, "Well, I was just going with the flow of traffic." They might be like, "That is still too fast." But I will tell you, don't be the person driving exactly 65 miles an hour in the leftmost lane. You will get a lot of angry people passing you as they rev their engine, wondering why you're driving so slow all the way on the left. When you're off the freeway and driving around the city, pay extra attention to school zones or senior center zones. These will be areas where you might be on a road, the speed limit is 50 miles per hour, but in front of the school, it's 25 miles per hour. Police love to hang out in those areas and write tickets all day. Don't be one of those suckers. The fourth thing to know is about changing lanes. If you are expecting to put on your turn signal and have people cordially wait for you to change lanes, you are out of your mind. That's not how it works in Los Angeles. If you're on the freeway and you put on your turn signal, what typically happens is people go, "Oh, I don't want this person to get in front of me," and they speed up. The general etiquette, it's not very nice, so I don't know why it's called etiquette, but the general practice that most people do is they put on their turn signal just right before they're gonna come in. And so it's less of a, "Hey, I'm putting this on so that everybody can notice and I can come." It's more of the, "I'm putting this on and I'm coming. I'm letting you know I am moving right now." The fifth thing to know is about right turn on red. In Los Angeles, if you're at an intersection that has a traffic light and the light is red, if there are no cars coming, you can make a right turn from the rightmost lane on a red light. That is, of course, unless the intersection actually says no right turn on red. Some of them do say that. You can also, if you're on two one-way streets, you could make a left turn as well on red if you're going from a one-way street to another one-way street. That would be a left turn from the leftmost lane to the leftmost lane. When you're doing this, though, please pay special attention to people who are making U-turns, because that's when a lot of accidents happen in LA. Somebody's making a right turn on red, somebody's making a U-turn, they don't see each other, and they have some stupid 10-mile-per-hour accident. The sixth thing to know is about red light cameras. Some cities within Los Angeles have red light cameras. How do these work? Well, if you run a red light, they send you a ticket. If you block an intersection when the light turns red, they send you a ticket. But as I mentioned before, this is only in certain cities. They're not all over Los Angeles. Typically, the intersections that have the red light cameras will have a sign on the intersection that says it has a red light camera. It's also worthwhile to note that while LA has red light cameras, it does not have speed cameras. The seventh thing to know is about pedestrians. Pedestrians can cross the street legally at intersections and in crosswalks. Legally, if somebody is in the crosswalk in any part of it and you're a car, you are supposed to stop. The general behavior you find is that when the pedestrian is sort of well away from where you are, then cars go. If you want to follow the law, you should wait till they're completely out of the crosswalk, but don't be surprised if people are honking at you or driving around you because they're like, "Dude, that pedestrian is like halfway across the street. What are you doing?" In Japan, people would wait the whole time calmly. In Los Angeles, not so much. As a driver, you should also pay attention for pedestrians illegally crossing the street whenever and wherever they want to, at night, wearing all black. Pay attention. Just because there isn't an intersection or a crosswalk doesn't mean a pedestrian won't be lunging out in front of you at any given time. The eighth thing to know is about bicycles. Bicycles can legally be ridden on any street in Los Angeles except for freeways. Anywhere on any street. In the bike lane, in the right lane, in the middle lane, in the left lane. Typically, bicycles, if they have their head on correctly, they'll be riding to the right in the bicycle lane, but you should pay attention for them and you should give them plenty of space. You'll also find Los Angeles has tons of these electric scooters. You'll find people riding them on the street because technically that's the only place that's legal to ride them. Electric scooters are not legal to ride on sidewalks, so do expect electric scooters. And by that I don't mean things like motorcycles. I mean these things that, you put like 2 feet on and you've got a handlebar and they just kind of go. Those things will be riding in the street too. The ninth thing to know is about motorcycles. Motorcycles in the state of California can legally split the lanes. What does that mean? It means they don't actually have to drive in a lane. It means they can drive between lanes. On the freeway, you will often find them driving between the HOV lane and the fast lane. Why? Because there's kind of a lot of room there. Legally, the motorcycles can only go 10 miles faster than the speed of the rest of the traffic, but you will often find them going much faster. Pay attention for motorcycles coming in between cars, particularly if there's a lot of traffic. The 10th thing to know is about emergency vehicles. Emergency vehicles, police, ambulance, and fire engines will have lights and sirens. If you see lights and sirens, pull to your right. Whether they're behind you or whether they're in front of you, the etiquette is you move to the right. The exception to this rule is if you are on a divided street and they are on the other side of the divider, then you don't actually have to do anything. Now, if you keep moving to the right and they continue to stay right behind you, well, then they're probably trying to get you to pull over. So at that point, pull over where it's safe to do. But if you're on the freeway, always make sure to pull over on the right-hand side, not on the left-hand side. You pull over on the left-hand side, they're going to give you another ticket for pulling over where you're not supposed to. The 11th thing to know is about stop signs. Stop signs are kind of a first-come, first-served thing. There is kind of this right-of-way concept where if you've arrived at the stop sign at the same time as one other person, then if a person's to your right, you're supposed to let them go. Doesn't really always work out that way. There's sometimes a little bit of jockeying. My perspective is I would rather just kind of let them go. So I try to make eye contact with them if we got to the same time, kind of give them the like, you go. Because, don't assume you have the right of way. If you floor it and they floor it, then again, you're going to have one of those really stupid accidents in the intersection. Also, beware of the California stop. What do we call the California stop? That's basically a rolling stop, or people who, they don't actually stop. They just kind of slow down a little bit and then continue to accelerate through the stop sign. The 12th thing to know is about traffic lights. If you're ever at a traffic intersection where all the lights are flashing red, that means the intersection is a four-way stop. So come up to that intersection, stop, take your turn, and then go through. Green means go. Yellow means slow down. Red's about to come. Yellow does not mean slam on your brakes. If you are one of those people who you see the yellow light and you slam on your brakes, chances are the person behind you is going to be trying to hurry through that intersection before it turns red, and they're going to rear end you. So yellow comes up, continue to proceed through the intersection, assuming you can, before the light turns red. One thing I really hate in downtown Los Angeles is most of the intersections are left turn yield. What does that mean? That means that there will be often a special lane for you to turn left from, but there's no arrow to turn left. It just means you need to turn left when there's no traffic. But as I mentioned earlier, there's traffic all the time. So on some of these roads, how do you ever turn left? Well, what happens is your light turns green. You can't go because there's cars coming in the opposite direction. Sort of like 2 or 3 cars kind of proceed out into the intersection and then wait for the light to turn yellow, wait for the cars to stop coming from the other direction, wait for the light to turn red, then 2 or 3 cars make that left turn, and then the intersection continues to go. It's probably one of the most stressful and frustrating parts about driving in Los Angeles. So it is good, I'd say, to make right turns. Make 3, 5, 9 right turns and try to avoid those left turn yields. The 13th thing to know is about parking. Los Angeles is the home of pay parking. There's lots of parking in LA, but don't expect it to be free. Pay for it. Street parking can be super confusing. It can be expensive. You can't park on the road between this time to this time. You can't park on these days. You can't park if your car is a certain color. My suggestion to you is find some kind of parking lot or parking garage. Park in there, pay for it. You won't be worried about whether your car is there or towed when you get back. If you are parking on the street, you should know about some of the colors of the curbs. A red curb means no parking. A green curb means 20-minute parking. A yellow curb means commercial loading. A white curb, and by that I mean painted white, means 3-minute passenger loading. And a curb that has no color, meaning it's just cement or something like that, that's a place you can park in. I will say pay attention to how sketchy the neighborhood is too. There are a lot of car robberies and break-ins happens in Los Angeles, so don't park in a place that's too sketchy. There might be a reason why there's plenty of parking in that neighborhood, because everybody's realized their cars come back with broken windows when they park there. The 14th thing to know is about gas stations, and this particularly applies if you are an international visitor. International credit cards don't really work at the pumps at the gas station. In Los Angeles, the way you pay for gas is when you pull up, you have to prepay. You can prepay in one of two ways. One, at the pump, but if you prepay at the pump, you need to have a credit card that has a 5-digit zip code, because the pump will ask you for the 5-digit zip code. If you don't have a 5-digit zip code on your credit card, then you'll need to go inside the store and tell them how much money you want to put on that pump, either on your credit card or from cash. The other option at the pump is if you have a debit card. International debit cards will typically work. In that case, you just have to enter a PIN number. The 15th thing to know is about GPS, Google Maps, Waze. Keep your GPS app on all the time. Why? Traffic changes in an instant with an accident or something like that, so you'll want to have that app up to be rerouted in the case of a significant problem on the freeway. The 16th thing to know, and this is really important if you're an international visitor, we drive on the right in Los Angeles. In all of the US, we drive on the right. If you're from a country where you drive on the left, an easy way to remember is tight right, loose left. That's how you'll remember kind of how to make that turn, because if you're making a right turn, you want to turn tight to the right. And if you're making a left turn, you want to be loose. Loose left, tight right. And by the way, that idea, and actually a lot of these ideas, was submitted by Dave James on Facebook. He's from Australia. He was actually the impetus for me creating this video, because he was like, Chris, it is so frustrating for an international visitor to come to Los Angeles. It would really help if you could make a video on driving tips in LA. So Dave, thank you for the tip. My final tip, number 17, is that you should watch more of my videos on Los Angeles. That way you won't be driving around aimlessly. You'll be knowing where to go. In particular, you'll want to know some things to do, or perhaps some things to eat in Los Angeles. You'll find a link in the description below to my full Los Angeles playlist. I won't say goodbye, because I'll see you in one of these videos.